Alright, this is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the grid and the grid snapping feature in Trials Fusion. First and foremost, why should you use the grid and grid snapping feature? And it's simply to avoid this that you see right there. Hang on, let me get a better angle. Right, it doesn't look good. It's awkward. You know, you could do a lot of builders will just finely adjust each individual obstacle until it looks good, but that is really time consuming and most people don't want to deal with that. Let's see if there are any more examples of that. I don't know. So here we are in the editor, and I'll snap this to the driving line by clicking my right stick, and this is going to be like my starting point. Now, if I want to extend this ramp, like so, I could just, like, try to get it perfect, like this, and then snap it to the driving line. And you'll have a little overlap, but that's okay. However, if I want to snap it to the side of it, right there, and on this side to make it symmetrical, suddenly it's not very nice, and it's not symmetrical and aligned very well. So what you want to do is to enable the grid snapping. Now the grid snapping is kind of annoying to get to if you don't know how to do it fast. Like, you have to go into the options, then you have to go into settings, and then editor settings, and here are the settings for that. But there's a faster way to do it, which is to just hold down on the D-pad and go to editor settings, like that. So when I want to enable grid snapping, that's how I get there. Enable these three. And you need to set a reference point, because if you don't, you know, objects are going to snap to whatever the XYZ axis of the world is, which doesn't really work. So I like to set a reference point by just adding a ramp or something that goes along the driving line, so it snaps to the driving line. And then I'll enable snapping and set that thing as a reference point. Now anything that if I click my right stick now, it'll snap to the grid that shows here. And even though it doesn't show a 3-dimensional grid, it shows a 2-dimensional grid, it also works in the height direction. Like, it will snap to an incremental value of the height. So you can use this. Well, okay, so first of all, you can also set the distance it snaps. The default is 1 meter, like so. And you can see by these blue lines where that is going to be. So it snaps to the origin point, or to a fixed distance from the origin point of the original thing. So here, if I snap it, because I know the Uber ramps are multiples of 1 meter long, this one right here is 5 meters long, the medium ramp. I know that this one's going to snap now exactly to the end. And if I click, whoop, wrong button. If I click test track, you're going to see that there's no real seam, right? It's going to not be noticeable in game. So you could be fiddly and just place this roughly right, or you could just snap it. And when you don't need the snapping anymore, you remove it and you reset snapping to world axis to get rid of the grid, and it'll look normal again. This is also really useful for deco, because just having Uber ramps as a driving line quickly gets ugly, but if you add a little bit of, like, stuff on the sides of it, it suddenly looks a lot better. Now, of course, using Uber ramps is not a great idea, but you know what I mean, though. Another example of where this could be really useful is if you want to do, let me get the scaffold pipe. If you want to do, like, setting up scaffold pipes to hold your stuff, this is really normal on, like, void tracks. If you want it to look like this, to just improvise that you're having pipes, right? Then you should be aware that at a distance, suddenly these pipes might start looking too short. Oh, Of course it doesn't now, but like if the camera moves a little bit wrong, you can maybe sometimes see the end of the pipe right here. So being able to make the pipes longer fast is really useful. Best way to do it is to just set something to be the origin point and then snap a pipe to it. Yoink. Then you just copy the pipe and you snap again and it's done. You don't even have to think about alignment at all. You just yoink. Alright, it's perfectly aligned. I don't have to check it. I know it's perfectly aligned. Much faster than manually doing shit. Anyway, hope anyone finds this useful. Good luck on your building. Peace.